Okay, so let's get into some news. Well, let's first start off with this. Q3 earnings are November 2nd. What are you guys thinking about it? Tanner's really good on the numbers, understands a lot of stuff like that. So I want to start with you, Tannor. How are you thinking of Q3 earnings? And then we'll go from there.
Oh gosh, I got to bring up some charts, I guess. Q3, I'm excited for it. So, I mean, it all depends on what you want. Where do I start? So
let's start with member growth and revenue growth. Where do you see that Q3? How do you see it?
About as online as we saw as Q2. I don't see anything explosive. And the only thing I can actually pull off of this is just things like, no new product offerings during this quarter practically, and also website traffic and these sorts of things. So they're looking all in line this quarter. There's some September information that came out. That's obviously next quarter. So, not quite.
It was September.
Yeah. Sorry. But we'll have to see. It'll be exciting to sort of see what that number is. But I think there's a glitch in that. So can I send you a link, Amit? I want you to pull this up.
Yeah, no, sure.
And maybe we'll have a chat about this really quick because I want you to.
Let me read some comments while you're sending this. We got Kelly, friend of my channel. She said, "I just got here. Who are all these cute boys?" It's the other three. It's not me. So men, right? Cute men. Gabe, GS Strategies here, also friend of the channel. What else do we got? We have Jason says, compared to traditional banks, that's great. What else we got? I'm in SoFi because Palantir took my bag. basically. You sent it on Twitter, Tannor?
No, through the private chat.
Private chat? Okay. So let me pull this up right now. Share screen, and here we go. All right.
I saw someone say that they hate SoFi and Palantir. How did you end up here?
I don't know how the algo got you.
Dude,
here.
Our CEO is great, man.
They just love us, apparently.
Yeah. So this has been the talk of the town lately in the latest month here that they just recorded. The September data just came in for web traffic, and obviously, as you can see, it looks horrible. Okay, a straight line down. If you could actually just hover over that dot for me, Amit, in the next one there. Yeah, that one. So as you can see, mobile data down 91.66%, yet desktop data is almost up, or sorry, traffic, I shouldn't say data, is up 35%. I want to have a conversation. I want to know what you guys think about this. How is that even possible?
Okay, but look at the numbers though, right? 1.8 million, 680,000.
Yeah, so this is something that if you go through, there's only been another month where we've seen 1.8 million views on the desktop. So how is it possible that is everyone just switching over to desktop to view their investments? I just don't believe it. So
how accurate is this from TipRanks? Are we positive?
That's what I'm saying. I think there's some sort of glitch because it doesn't make sense that one would be so explosive and the other one is like, everyone.
Here's the thing, though. Didn't Noto? I mean, this is the first time SoFi is going to be announcing Q earnings before the stock market, the stock market goes live. So, doesn't that sound like a really good bull case? Like they want to get the news out before the stock goes on the market, so they can get the added investors into it.
Yeah, look, guys, I think really highly we just have to. If we assume that that data is completely accurate, let's just operate with that assumption for a second. Then the next question we have to ask ourselves is, okay, what is the relative correlation that is actually going to translate? And the fact of the matter is, we're not talking about Facebook or Pinterest or Snapchat here. Who will go on a web view on their mobile phone to go to SoFi's website to sign up for a loan? It makes sense why desktop has more than mobile, because SoFi has an app. And if you wanted to sign up for their services, you could just do that through their app. Like a more accurate way, if I wanted to judge it like that, I would go to Google Trends to see the search volume regardless. Mm-hmm. And then I would go to App Annie or Sensor Tower to look at their app downloads for that month. Because if their app downloads are strong, then I'm going to trust that way more than I'm going to trust the actual web traffic in terms of conversion is my point.
Right. Or even, something that I was thinking of, maybe some sort of correlation is if you're having web traffic, what does that sort of correlate to, trading on the brokerage side? you know,
I
personally,
have a question on that. If they only got 680,000 visits in September, does that include trades, like including the actual buy and sells is 680,000?
So it doesn't mean traffic in terms of transactions. It means in terms of traffic as in they logged on. So someone went to that website, someone got onto their app.
Also, one thing to clarify, guys, when you look at mobile right there for 680,000, that's not mobile app. That's how many people access SOFI.com on their mobile phone.
Are you sure about that?
That makes actually a lot of sense.
Because then if that's the case, I don't think we have anything to worry. Because
that's what I'm
But
saying.
even though, why is it down 91%?
I think the next quarter is going to be really good. Just by the fact that Noto pushed back the quarterly earnings before the stock market goes alive.
Yeah, so
he's never done that, right?
Or maybe he just wants to cry in the morning. So
yeah, that honestly, I've got zero feelings about whether it's morning or, I mean, maybe he has a wedding to go to. I like that. I know zero technical analysis, and I won't put a finger on whether it's.
Isn't there like a disadvantage of having SoFi go under $5 because
the reverse
that's
split.
kind of scary for
let's we're gonna get to the reverse split in a second. Is there anything else, Tanner? Can you give us any other numbers on earnings in terms of member growth, revenue, any other key KPIs we should care about?
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to dive too deep because I'm literally like, that's my next video.
This will be a good preview for your next video.
No, I mean, I think it's going to be right on par. I don't think we're going to see anything exciting from Galileo. I don't think we're going to see. I think lending is going to be really, really up, like it was last quarter, and yeah, the brokerage side is going to suck. Financial services is going to suck because all we're seeing is capitulation. So
do you know how many people signed or how many companies signed up for Galileo last quarter?
12, I think it was.
Okay, and we expect to do more than 12 this quarter?
I have no idea. Zero idea. What I mean is more along the side of accounts, payment cards, and I don't see that growing any more than it was before. I mean, people are we're going into a recession time, right? So I don't really see spending climbing that high right now. So I don't see that going like crazy. The B2B side's really interesting, but still, I don't know if it'll be explosive. I hope that we get somewhere along the lines of like 130 million accounts.
So I have a slightly different take, just to piggyback on that. So I did actually a recent video yesterday on some of the numbers that I was looking at for the earnings coming up. And I just simply looked at the average quarterly growth every single quarter broken out by year. And the average quarterly growth in 2020 was 17.5% per quarter for members and 21% for products. Those numbers fell a little bit to 17 and 19.7% in 2021. And in 2022, obviously it's been a rough year and we only have H1, like Q1 and Q2 numbers to talk about. So we can't see the back half. Generally, the back half quarters are stronger in terms of growth. But so far in Q2, members have grown on average per quarter 11.7%, and products have grown 12.6% per quarter on average. So if you just plug in those numbers and just say, okay, nothing's going to change, SoFi is going to remain within those average quarterly growth rates, you come up to over 4.8 million members for the next quarter and around 7.4 million total products. So I think just that alone, compared to what SoFi is trending in terms of where they've set expectations for their growth, puts them in a solid spot. And then my slightly different take from Tannor is we saw that back in the end of 2021, when the Biden administration was essentially hinting at the end of the moratorium, what happened was people rushed to refinance. And so we saw a huge spike in the refinancing, like in the new essentially originations in the end of 2021. And then obviously, retrospectively looking, that didn't happen. The moratorium continued for another year. But now that we actually have confirmation that student loans are going to resume in January, I would imagine that the number that I'm looking for is for lending to grow. And lending so far, on average, quarterly for 2022 has been 5.5% increase. So we can expect total lending products, if we follow that model, to be around close to 1,300 or 1.3 million. So
does that mean 1.3 million people borrowed from SoFi?
Total lending products. So without considering new originations around 670,000, 700,000, something like that. But if we hold on to this theory that people are going to rush to refinance because of the student loans that are resuming in 2023, then that's where I think the beat is going to come in. But I don't know.
Yeah. So I just want to, we agree on that part. So lending, I definitely do think will be a strong one. I don't think financial services will be as strong. So that, I agree with that.
Why do you think financial services won't be that strong, Tanner?
Stock markets are down. No one's going to be trading. No hype means, although it's the best time to trade, it retail investors don't see it that way, and it's where we see the lowest amount of traffic. So,
right.
That's at least the way I'm looking at it. And then, sorry, there was another point you said there at the beginning. With the average member growth. The only problem with that is that although that's averaged out, it has been declining each quarter, right? If you look at it,
well, yeah, I guess slightly.
Yeah.
They were up 50% year over year last quarter, but that's not quarter over quarter. So is it
right? Yeah, year over year, I think it was something.
Yeah, so they're only up about 11-12% quarter over quarter, but the third and fourth quarter are traditionally the strongest ones. So the average quarterly growth for Q3 and Q4 always ticks up. It did so in 2021. It did so in 2020. And so we can expect, like right now, I was just saying 4.8 million total members based on the average, like a blended of the first two quarters. But we can also add a little kicker to that because of that trend.